All right, we'll pass it over to you, Apex. Yeah, I think yeah, thanks for getting those questions together, Apex. Um, we've got quite, I think it's a good time to do the update because there's quite a big roadmap for 2023. The first gameplay feature update, we've already got the designs in place. So it's going to focus on pilot-based stat rooms. We've got a number of new hangar-based rooms and weapons in the pipeline. That's going to be rolled out in the next over the next 2 months. The 2023 tournament gear set is also going to be pilot stat focused. So uh, there's going to be, I think, two feature updates coming in the next 2 months, and uh, yeah, Vince, I think Vincent's put through a lot of the designs together. He is away on Chinese New Year break at the moment, but he'll be back in 3 or 4 weeks to go over the details as well. Yeah, so Pixel Starships 2 is you saw the last preview we sent. It's quite a different game to Pixel Starships, and we're still in the middle of engine development. It's going to be at least a year of development before any type of uh, publicly available release. But we're planning to do a Kickstarter sometime this year to kind of show some previews and get some early access tests done for the game. Yeah, there's quite a few features. I think a lot of the features we can't discuss yet just because they're not finalized. Um, yeah, but I think we'll send some screenshots over on development progress, maybe in the next call we have. Yeah, that's the plan. So really good news yesterday. We've just got approval for Steam Deck as well. So we're actually now kind of in terms of platforms, we're live on 4 or 5 different platforms. So I think that's one of the requirements for the version one, in addition to the amount of content in the game. I think, yeah, we're aiming for a version one release sometime during this year. Hmm. I think we'll aim for around the middle of the year, but it really depends on the game feature and content. Yeah. Yeah, I think Tom's going to put together the PSS1 roadmap, and I mean he's been regularly posting the blog updates, and I think we'll have a kind of a panel talk with Tom as well in the next video call. So there's definitely a lot of uh, gameplay and content coming for PSS1 this year. Uh, I think we've been posting on Discord and on the blog. Blog is probably the best source of truth, uh, but we'll post the link to the blog on Discord as well. Ah, mm. Yeah, no, thanks for that feedback. Uh, that's also something the CMs Tylo drama have also raised that in our call last week with them. So I think we know the community wants to more information about what's coming up. So we'll look at setting that up on Discord as well, and also running more of these live stream sessions. Yeah, we've been doing some tests of that function on Pixel Starships 2 engine already. There's a few little issues we're still working out, but that one I think will be able to transfer into PSS1 as well. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yes. Yes, that's still in in the pipeline. It's a tough one because when we get it ready, yeah, I mean, we've done three, I think, iterative releases of like the LL PvP, and I think the lesson from that was we got to make sure it's well designed before we release it because we don't want to end up in the same situation as LL PvP where we're constantly tweaking with it. Um, so I think we'll spend enough time to make sure any changes we do with the Starbase is enough of a feature set to do a feature launch. Otherwise, we'll just keep working on it. Yeah. Kildare or Vincent's been coming up with various ideas, and we just got to have a team discussion uh, on which ones are go and which ones are we have to leave on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I think Thomas the best to answer this, and I think we'll set up another session with Thomas. But in short, yes, we've done. I think we got really good feedback from the balance changes on the crew last year. Uh, Coming into the feature updates this year, one of the balance that Thomas looking at is the collection balance. So that obviously affects the perks. Yeah, so yes, there is a plan to do that, and I think we're going to be in the process of doing that in the next month or so. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, well, I think first one, I just want to clarify the transfer of Starbucks. It's actually a duplication. It's not a transfer. So basically, any purchases from October 2022, there will be the same amount of Starbucks in PSS1, and we'll basically duplicate that in PSS2. So you get effectively double from each purchase. Um, so just I'll clarify that because a couple of people have asked, is it a transfer? Like, would you lose the Starbucks from the original account? No, it will just be a doubling up of the credits. Um, and the second thing is there will be specific awards and achievements that you can get in PSS2 based on your PSS1 play progress, and that might not be limited to visual things. You might be special rooms or crew as well. We haven't finalized what those are at this stage, but we'll be working on that once the engine build for PSS2 is more complete. Yeah, at this stage, our focus is making sure the engine is gives a different play experience in PSS2, and also making sure in PSS1 we have really strong content and game design changes in the pipeline. Yeah. And we'll have the perks and the achievements that's unique to PSS1 um, progress. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have the exact specific details, but it would be something like, if you've reached, say, Legendary League in PSS1, then you unlock certain um, game function or items in PSS2. Yeah. Yeah, well, on the botting issue, of course, in the last several weeks, we've run a very strong fair play enforcement. So I think I want to refer to that because it does impact on the bug spotting issue. When we designed the market for Pixel Starships 2, I think one of the considerations is ability for bugs to be illicitly transfer between accounts. So the market mechanic is different in PSS2 to prevent um, um, illicit box transfers. So I think we want to make the game free to play and competitively free to play. That's pretty important. And we I think sometimes we get criticized for pay to win, but we keep an eye on the stats of the game, and it's I think a fairly in a fairly balanced state, and we want to maintain that for PSS2. But what's not fair is if the specific bad actors have created bots uh, or abusing the ads to gain uh, illicit Starbucks and then be able to sell those on second-hand market. So we don't want that to be uh, happen again in PSS2. Mm. Yeah, so I'm not sure about the favoring part. It's the way we've been banning and restricting accounts, it's done just based on a rule set. So we would always send a warning and to people's emails to user accounts if they've been detected of any suspicious activity, and we'll limit some of the items or assets in their account. But we usually wouldn't outright ban them unless they were dealing dealing bugs. We'll give people a heads up to say, okay, this is not uh, conf confronting to the end user license agreement. Uh, and if we catch them doing it again after that warning, then we will be issuing a ban. And we've done that across all accounts. Our server team has been just running scripts to detect accounts where this has happened. And so we're not looking at usernames or anything like that. It's based on a rule set, and everyone's getting the same treatment. But that being said, we've run bans across a number of accounts, but due to language barriers or access uh, to Discord or email, some players have then reached out saying they didn't receive that notification, and so we're re-looking at people's accounts who were banned, but maybe we didn't do our due diligence in terms of communicating this with them. So we're currently working on that still, but we'll proactively uh, keep doing the fair play checks. Yeah, good question. I think we've rebalanced legendary PvP three times since we launched it, and yeah, I think it's the the general feedback is been from very negative to a little bit negative. So I think in that scope, we want to make it a good feature. So we've tried putting additional tweaks into this. I think in the first phase of the legendary PvP voting system, some of the options weren't very good. So we're currently tweaking those and making yeah, better options. Sorry, actually that's relating to tournament, but I guess yeah, legendary PvP itself, there's I think uh, some overlap between LL PvP and the tournament. So we're looking at ways we can improve that. It's not top priority, I would say, just because we put a lot of focus on that already during the last year. Um, yeah, but yeah, if we come up with a better setup, or if there's a really good suggestion that's worthwhile in testing, I think we'll take that on board. Mm, yeah. Yeah, I think that's all of those are really good feedback, and I think they could be worked into the game. Um, I think if we look at why we made legendary PvP, it's to make it less grindy, the game, and also to really test out, um, you know, which ships have the best strategy. I think the like goal of Pixel Starships is a mid-core, hardcore space strategy game, and we want to uh, you know, make the competitive aspect of that strategy game the highlight. And I think the issue with our PvP, some of it was a bit too uh, restricted for the player. So it's and the rules are a bit hard. So if there's something we can do to make it more fun, uh, yeah, I think we can explore that. It's a hard balance though, right? Because yeah, yeah. So mm, yeah. Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. So I think the Senate Wars feature is a pretty good and interesting feature. So I don't think there's any issues with the feature itself, but there is I think two problems with the feature, like two related problems. One is the lack of the layout customization for AI made it very difficult for players to adapt, or like a lot of hassle to update all of their ship designs to you know uh, to best handle the hazard that's introduced. So I think that's probably the major issue. I think second thing is I think temporarily to address that, we're going to put a more mixture of voting options in for the next couple of tournaments to see if there's something else that works better. Um, so that's in the pipeline. That should be out uh, in the next month tournament, or if not, by the March tournament. Yeah. Oh, so what would be the the different hazard options? Oh, they may not be hazards. They may be something that's uh, less impactful to. Yes, I think yes, that's right. So boost. Yeah, I think the boost is a good one. The immediate ones we've got coming up maybe something to do with the rewards as well. So um, yeah, we've got a couple of ideas in play at the moment. Yeah, definitely. So part of that is to get people more aware of faction-specific weapons earlier rather than wait until level 12. We're also taking feedback about the uh, I would say maybe perceived imbalance of the final super weapons. And there's a refactor, like a game rebalance coming up for the super weapons as well. We always keep an eye on the win-loss rate of the super weapons to make sure it's fair across factions, because I think we want more different type of strategies, and one way to do that is having different faction-specific weapons, but it has to be fair. So we're always looking at win-loss rates on the super weapon use, and hopefully we'll make a little bit of an improvement again with the next update. Yeah, it's good to get the feedback. It's something we've considered and talked about in detail in the team. We are still of the view it's like many other games like Diablo or StarCraft that have faction-specific functions baked into the game. Um, we think it's more an issue of communicating this earlier on. So that's the direction we're going with, sticking with the faction-specific weapons. Uh, and understand some of the players have started playing the game many years ago, even before super weapons were a thing, and there's some arguments that there's no way they would have known about that before the super weapons were implemented. But I think overall for the game, we want the strategy to be as rich as possible. So the way to do that is have functions specific to the factions. And I think it's going to be also like that for Pixel Starships too. We want more faction-specific weapons as long as they're balanced and players know about this early. I think it's going to be a overall positive for the game strategy. Yeah, I don't want to rule it out. But at this stage, the focus is on, yeah, like what I said before, the getting more faction-specific strategy options in. It's more about the variant strategies. And for us, it's about making sure the balance is good across factions. Um, we think it's going to be less interesting if every faction or every ship have access to all of the same um, set of I guess tools there. And I think even if we go back to the captains, the faction captains have different stats as well, and yeah, that's similar to this problem. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, actually, that's a really good feedback. I will make a note to for us to have another look at this. Yeah, the captains should also be fairly balanced across factions. Yeah. Mm, mm. We haven't considered that yet, but I don't want to rule that out. I think we'll put it on the table and have a look at it. I think it's not likely we'll make changes to the XP system in any short to medium term. Um, but yeah, I think we'll definitely note that and have a look at the merits if we were to do that. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a good question. I think we've been working on that. It's not finalized, so don't take my word for it. If we can get some of the technical issues sorted, that would be yeah, uh, a nice thing to have in the game. It's something we want to put in. It's just pending development at the moment. Very soon, I think in the next, so that I can talk about because it's very close on the roadmap. Within the next 2 months. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So we've got a planned feature update in March, and most likely it's going to be included in that update. Yeah. So that's something we definitely want. It's a big it's a big project to get level 13 ships. We've got a couple of designs I can't go into, but there's gameplay changes in level 13. Um, it's gonna be a longer term feature, but we do have a plan and some gameplay functions tied into that. Yeah. But I can't give a timeline on that just yet. Yep. Yeah, we've been looking into that, and I think it's we just have to come up with a way to do that that's very simple for new players and also top level players. That doesn't end up being a burden on the system. I think the daily crew donations are pretty good, but it becomes a bit of a hassle after some time, especially if we're donating to like Starbase. That's become a real hassle. Um, yeah, so that's a quality of life change we want to get in there. Yeah, good question. I think we've been releasing them just in batches. There's a couple of Kickstarter um, I think backers we just still haven't heard from. So there's nothing we can do about uh, those. We just need them to reply to the messages. But yeah, yeah, we've been putting up both ships and the characters. I think pretty regularly over the last 6 months. I think. Yeah. So I think any backers that's emailed us with all the requirements, I think we won't have any issues getting those released into the game. Yes, yes, that definitely we're doubling down on the strictness of players that's not following the end user license agreement. I think we try to be nice about it and give warnings. And I think even uh, it, the thing we haven't done too well is having translated versions of the warnings sent over, and also just making sure there's more than one channel to communicate with the affected users. So we'll be working on that first, and once we've got that workflow done better, we'll just continue doing ban waves. Yeah, I think we've tackled the majority of the botting and the bucks, the illicit bucks trade in the last month. But we know it's very hard to set we got 100% coverage. And I think if someone was running a bot, they might try to find other ways to abuse the system. We'll just have to be proactive on catching those early. Amazing. Thanks, Apex, for putting everything together. Really appreciate it. Cool. You too. Cheers. Bye.